Πάμε στην ίδια κονσόλα, δηλαδή ποιο γιατί τα βάλουμε σε άλλη κονσόλα.
Έκανε πάλι αυτό το μαγαζί, δεν ξέρω. Μπορεί και μάξι.
Μπορεί. Μπορεί.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. I have to listen. Hello, hello, hello. We're good to go. Oh, I need more gain. Here it is. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon. Hello, hello, hello. Aux, pan. Aux, level. Hello, okay. Hello, hello, hello. Yes. Test. Oh, that's a loud one. That's a good one. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Four, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, 7. One, two, three. Microphone and over to go.
Should I just talk? They don't like. Hello. This is fast. I'm doing a mic check for the people downstairs, except for I don't know what to talk about. So how is everyone? I hope downstairs can hear it. I hope you're all wooing too. What was the best talk today? Mine. Yeah, totally yours. Sustainability. Any others? Banking. Sustainable banking. Now that's something to talk about. What was the best? Where was the best coffee found so far? In my cup. In your cup? That is a good answer. Coffee in a cup is definitely answering. Okay, apparently being in progress is the best place to get coffee, according to Ryan McHugh. Okay, who has the best swag this year? That is true. Ctrl Org has the best swag. Who has best swag at the actual other thing? The non-side event. Has anyone picked any swag that they quite like? What was that? Oh, apparently the swag movement is quite low this year, is what I'm getting. Good to know. You've actually saved me walking around the sponsors booth. Thank you. I'm hoping Austin's going to save me from this. Has anyone got any questions for me? Sweaty and weird. Any other questions? Austin told me to keep on tapping, but you know how the audio people hate it when you tap their microphones. Do not type a mic. I know, this is why I'm putting myself forward to just keep on talking. And I don't really want to start singing like, you know, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Well, so my kid is 22 months old, and his favorite song is, and this is a very British song, I think. It goes, the Grand Old Duke of York, he had 10,000 men. He walked them up to the top of the hill, and he walked them down again. And when they were up, they were up. And when they were down, they were down. And when they were only halfway up, they were neither up or down. There you go. Thank you. Seriously, Austin, come and save me, please. Okay, what other nursery rhyme are we going for? Does anyone know any Swiss nursery rhymes? Someone else can take over from me. Swiss nursery rhymes, anybody? No? German ones? Dutch ones? Oh, you've all just forgotten them? Okay, fine. What else can we talk about? Best lunch location, best food location. Where's people found good food in Basel? Here in Clara? The Vietnamese is very good. There's was it on Wednesday? I can't remember what day it is anymore. On Wednesday I had, in the Vietnamese upstairs, the top right-hand corner is like bao, bun, bo, nam, something. Anyway, the top right-hand corner one is legit. I recommend it. Anywhere else that is not at Clara? Where's the other good places? Lily's, where's Lily's? Lily's is right around the corner. So if you're looking for somewhere to eat that isn't Clara because you want to go somewhere else, then yeah, Lily's. Anywhere else? What's that? Market Hall. Where's Market Hall? Oh, Market Hall's somewhere else, but it's definitely recommended. What's that? Oh, it's near the station, train station? Yes. Okay, Market Hall's near the train station, and that is also very good. There's lots of people nodding here. Austin, come and save me, please. This is how I end up making random songs at home for my kid. This is really weird. I never thought I had to do this for you. Count backwards from 100. 100, 99, 98, 97. I really have to think about this. This is hard. Why are you making my brain work so hard? Can I speak PHP? I haven't written a line of PHP in, I don't know, many, many years. I actually wrote some JavaScript the other day. And I was so proud of it. I made a little script that took things from a Google Meet recording thing and then put it into another folder. And I was really proud of it. It was all automated. Oh, and I'm perfect. Right, I'm done. Someone else can take over. Thank you. Good night.
All right then. Hello, hello. Test. Hello. It is on, right? No, I'm okay with that, but testing. 1, 2, 3.
Hey.
Yeah. You need to.
I need to shout?
Yeah.
This is what the
You
microphones
need-
are for. I was hoping. No, that's okay. No, that's okay because. But not for the speak. Just need to shout a bit more. All right, people, can you hear me? Hello, hello. Maybe this way. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I didn't quite hear that, but welcome, everyone, to the first and foremost Ctrl Org event. I'm so happy to be here with you. I'm so happy to be at Basel for WordCamp Europe 2025, which I'm sure everyone is having a great time with. But so, we are running a little bit late with our schedule, but let's start and see what we can do with it. So, this is Ctrl Org, which has been aptly named for the love of WordPress, and we actually mean that. This is what we're here for. I'm Takis. I will be hosting the event for you today. And a few words about this event. The organizers would like you to know that, this is an independent event happening on the side of WordCamp Europe, but this is not an anti-WordCamp Europe event. This is not a contrarian event. This is only an event that we wanted so that people can have a safe space to engage in novel discussions, novel conversations, and discuss all the things that we might have found ourselves in fear or in silence of discussing the last year. So this is what Ctrl Org is here for. A platform for open discussion about WordPress and open source. Our theme this year, our focus this year is free speech, governance in WordPress, and how WordPress interacts with the rest of the open source world. A great thank you to our sponsors for this year, WP Fusion, thank you Jack, Typo3, thank you Olivier, Halvar Hosting, thanks Ramon, thank you Simon from CrowdPress, Francesca from Patstack, Just, Taco and Marike from Progress Planner, Sarah from WP Concierge, Ari and Pekka from Seravo. Thank you very much. Also, let's extend a great thank you to the supporters on our Open Collective page. Open Collective is where we're handling and managing our finances this year. Thanks to all these people who have chipped in. Nope. All right. No. It's going to be fixed. All right. Thank you for the positive energy. All right. A few words on photography. If anybody wants to not be photographed, they are wearing a red lanyard. So for the rest of you people taking photographs and sharing them on social media, please be respectful for them on that respect. We're also streaming and videotaping, recording the sessions with the speakers. The camera is over there. So everyone who has a red lanyard, please, if you walk by the camera, we cannot put you out of the shot. There's going to be a food break at halftime. You'll have 10 Swiss francs vouchers with a unique QR code to be scanned at the vendors upstairs. You can go grab something to eat even from now and bring it back downstairs. We have a code of conduct, which is the code of conduct that you're all familiar with from the WordPress community and the events that we do in the WordPress community in general. Wendy and Taco are going to be handling any cases that might arise. You can find them at Ctrl Org, at proton.me, and message them at that email. And now, I'm going to be off the stage and leave it to our first speaker, Zoe Kooyman from the Free Software Foundation, who is going to be discussing free software and why the terms matter. So, Zoe, here you are, and the stage is yours. Thank you so much.
This is a nice place to stand, but you can move a little bit to the right or to the left.
Okay.
And this is your clicker. Give us a second. Give us a second. I promise we will fix it.
Well, while we're waiting, hello, thank you for the warm welcome. Thank you for having me here today. I was honored to be invited to an event that's a side event to one of the organizations, of course, that is iconic in the world of free software and open source. So, and I want to thank you all for the work you're doing to make the world a little bit better, because I call it free software. And that is also what I'm going to be talking about today for the minutes that I have. I'll try to keep it within the time, or maybe a little bit shorter, so we can catch up on things. And yes. So my name is Kooyman. I am the executive director of the Free Software Foundation. And I am here today to explain to you why I speak about free software when a lot of you probably say open source. And that's...
No. You change that.
Am I trying it again, or what am I doing? Okay. Very good. All right. So, a lot of you, of course, know the history of free software, but that's where it all started, at the Free Software Foundation. Or to be completely honest, it started a little bit before that with the GNU project, of course. And then in 1985, Richard Stallman founded the Free Software Foundation, and our mission is to have all computer users to be able to do everything they need to do on any computer using only free software in all circumstances. And we have been fighting for these rights for the last 40 years. This year is our anniversary year. And in that mission, of course, is ingrained our free software definition. So for those of you that need a little reminder of where we are all coming from with the work that we're doing in creating software that is usable and modifiable for everyone, and that you can share, and that we can create a place where that is based on collaboration and goodwill and social justice. A program is free software if the program's users have the 4 essential freedoms: the freedom to run the program as you wish for any purpose, the freedom to study how the program works and change it so it does your computing as you wish, which is freedom 1. And access to the source code, of course, is a precondition for that freedom. The freedom to redistribute copies so you can help others, which is freedom 2. And then the freedom to distribute those copies of your modified versions to others again. By doing this, you can give the whole community a chance to benefit from your changes. Access to the source code also here is a precondition to this freedom. I'm going to point out the fact that the free software freedoms are not just statements. They have a little explanation there, and that explanation is a social one. It's an ethical one, and that is the part that I personally connect to really strongly, and it's one of the reasons why I love the work that I do and have the opportunity to speak to you all about why, for me, I use the words free software, when often that makes me the difficult person in the room. A little story about all the work that we do at the Free Software Foundation. It is a lot. We maintain the free software definition, the one that we just were looking at. We advocate, we educate, we teach, we publish, and we speak about free software and all the issues that surround that. So we have campaigns on and software patents, we have digital rights management, we talk about privacy, we have guides for people to use to increase their privacy online. We go to schools to educate people, and we, of course, publish and speak in public occasions like these. Then we are the steward and publisher of the GNU family of licenses, which is, of course, also the GNU General Public License that most of you are familiar with, and the AGPL, and we hold the copyright for many of the GNU packages and also take copyright assignments for these. We enforce our licenses on these packages, and we also, and this is a little bit new with the developments that are happening in the US. There are some cases, and there was a case recently in Germany, and the Software Freedom Conservancy deserves some credit there. They have been doing some third-party beneficiary compliance cases, and we want to make sure that we make it clear that we encourage the use of any legal mechanism available to users for obtaining complete and corresponding source code, even if that is not through us, the copyright holder. We run only free software for our operations. I think we run about 23 services and 64 virtual machines. We only use free software for anything we do. We want to know what we're talking about, and we want to also be able to talk to people about the problems that we run into, of course. We have to practice what we preach, or otherwise we're preaching something impractical. And then, of course, we maintain the infrastructure for the GNU system and other free software projects. Now, why do we do all of those things? We do that because we believe in users' essential freedoms. We believe that using software that people can run, study, copy, modify, and share is software that is just. It is software that is ethical, and it is software that is at the base of a lot of social justice movements of today. Think about sustainability, right to repair, for example. You need software freedom to be able to really achieve the right to repair. And I can give you more examples of these, but I'll have to keep the time in mind. The term free software and open source, as most of you know, stand for almost the same range of programs, but they represent slightly different values. Open source was born out of the free software movement, and it was born through some people that felt that free software wasn't really connecting to people the way that it should, and it could be more successful if only we knew how to talk to corporations and business owners and people who like to sell their software, which of course is a consideration that is definitely important. But somewhere along the way, we lost a little bit track of where we came from. In a world where everything we do today is driven by technology, the underlying principles matter. Free software is about a user's essential freedoms. It's about helping others, which is in freedom too. It's about social solidarity, sharing, collaboration, and it's about ethics versus profit margins. So when you talk about the work that you do, think about the terms that you use. Open source, some of them have called it a marketing campaign for free software. But think about how talking about the practical values, what that means to people versus the values that I was just speaking about before. Thinking about the fact that, like I just said, I am always the difficult person in the room because I am always talking about free software. I'm always saying to people, yeah, okay, it's really great that you're doing this, but can I also distribute it? Can I also really modify it? Can I study it? And that doesn't mean that the work that people are doing towards this end isn't important, but it's not quite there yet. And when I talk about free software, that is what I hope to achieve, is that people want to do more and better. Besides that, there is some increased confusion on the term open source. A lot of people actually lost a little bit track of what open source means. This is a criticism that actually the FSF got back in the day when we spoke about free software and why open source started. But these days, open source is actually more confusing for people because a lot of people, for example, when they talk about source available, also think that that is open source, even though most people know, and especially the open source initiative will tell you, it is not. Then the word open has become a bit of a fad. Of course, we've got open science, open waste, open everything. And the machine with one C, learning situation is not really helping everything. I don't know if you have followed the discussions around the OSIAD, but don't have time to go into that because I have 1 minute left. But it relates to the fact that there are so many corporations and organizations using the term open source today that it is completely watering down what it means. So let's go back. So our core. I just want to leave it with this, which is actually my last slide, so yay for timing. In understanding media, it matters not why we are taking a train journey or where we are going on the train. These are irrelevant side issues which only divert us from noticing the train's real cultural significance. And its real cultural significance is the medium is the message, or the way it changes our perception of the world. Think about what the dominance of proprietary software is doing to our perception of society, ourselves, and what is right. Think about how profit margins are prioritized over privacy, over user rights, and over dignified technology use. Are the terms that you are using helping to make a statement for change? And that's it.
All right. Thank you so much, Zoe, for the amazing presentation. All right. So everyone who is standing on the sides, there is room. There are places that you can take. It is time. I'm giving you 30 seconds to take a spot as we are switching to the next presentation, which is an overview of the Type of 3 association by Olivier Dobberkau. Am I pronouncing that correct, right? Nice to see you. Always great to see the perspective of other open source communities. The stage is yours.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Switzerland. Full disclosure, I'm Swiss, but only half of it. Now, yeah, so that's the question. That's a good question. I was very honored when I got an email coming into my type3.org mailbox. We're doing this event. Would you like to speak? And then I said, okay, I'm going to speak, but I'm also going to donate. I'm going to sponsor it because I thought I mean, and I really liked what you said so about the profits. And I think sometimes projects need to make profit too, because, you know, to actually do stuff like that. So I think it's a good way to start a discussion. But I think we in the Type 3 Association, and I hope that we will be able and to tell you a little bit about how the Type 3 Association, the project, the community, so that you get a little bit of a seasoned or like a little picture of what we are actually doing. Oh, this is again. I was really lucky that you were. So, which button is it? This one. It's not working. Not working. So you do it. Okay. There's 40 slides, but they're only for the download. I will skip through it. So, next slide, please. Yeah, that's me. I'm quite an old guy. I discovered open source through the Linux distribution on a CD like 30 years or 35 years ago, and I even compiled my own kernels at that time. No, I'm not like to go back to that time, but you see that I was there when the internet came into the houses of everyone. We had to explain why the internet and so on and so forth. And for me, open source or source available or free software was actually an empowering thing, right? I think that is what I really like about your presentation, that you just remembered me about the empowering of the single individual to do whatever with. So I'm doing Type 3 so for many, many, many years. I think 2002, I met the community here in Switzerland. We went to a snowboard event here in the Swiss Alps, and this is where the community was kind of created. There was one guy, maybe the next slide, please. So this is Type 3. So what is it? No. Okay, we can go back to the next slide. So there was this guy who's actually the creator of, or the inventor, or person, committer number one, or whoever you would call him, who invented Typo 3 1998, I guess, or 1997. He open sourced it in 1998. And this is where I actually got to find out that this thing is there. And he had a religious motivation. And if you remember going back to time, you will see that there was like, if you installed Typo 3 and you needed to find out if that Typo 3 is actually working, there was like pictures of Jesus hanging on a cross. This is a safe space, huh? So I don't want to, and I remember having a long discussion with an American user of Typo 3 who was actually saying, hey guys, we in the US, we're quite agnostic, we don't like the Jesus stuff. Okay. So this guy gifted Typo 3 to the community many, many years. So many years ago. So he made the community come and gather around him. And so this started up, and it was at a time when everybody needed a website. So when people came to agencies at that time, they could even, at that time we did the website with an editor, or putting SSH or FTP or whatever, we put it on the server, and that's it. So so I don't need to tell you about the history of content management, but this is actually the time when Typo 3 was there, and this was like kind of a shocker for everyone, right? So next slide, please. So this is how Typo 3 looked like, even with Russian backends. Very political. Next slide, please. So this, in 2004, this is, I was thinking, Matthias, this is a shocking image, right? So just next slide, please. So 2004 Typo 3, the Typo 3 Association was created or funded by some fellow Swiss guys. And their idea was actually to collect money so that Casper can actually work all of his time for Typo 3 and not being dependent of customers' assignments, right? So yeah, so he started to do it. Next slide, please. And okay, there was the Berlin Manifesto. Okay, that's another story. But he somehow said, oh, this is getting too big for me. Everybody's looking at me as I would be the new messiahs. And he said then, no, I'm going to give it to the community. So this is actually, if you really closely look at all the other CMSs where you have this big person, you have Dries, we have Matt, you have the guy from Mambo that I forgot. Sorry. Joomla, Mambo, very cool software, very cool people. But you have those guys, and then they went a path. And this guy went the path to say, I give this to the community. And in this moment, the Typo 3 Association was created as kind of the sole holder of the trademark that existed at that time a little bit, and also to actually foster the project. So I have 5 minutes left, so really like fast, no, Neos. You can download the slides, and you can ask ChatGPT or Claude about the story of Typo 3. So in 2016, what we did was we created a Typo 3 company that is like actually like kind of a commercial arm of the Typo 3 Association, 100% company owned by the association. And this was because of that we wanted to professionalize on what we were doing. And what we are not doing with Typo 3 companies, we're not offering any agency services. So we're not a vendor where you actually go and you say, okay, I would like to do my website, please do it for me, Typo 3 company. No, we don't have like kind of I think this is a little bit crazy. We don't have like a WordPress.com, WordPress.org thing where you can find on com, you can find the hosting or all the professional services. I'm not judging. I think it's good and it all makes sense. But I just want to show you that there's a different world outside. Even if we think that we are very capitalistic and very profit-oriented in our community, that's because our CMS is aimed at enterprise usage, right? And it hit a sweet spot. Oh, this pops a lot, huh? So it hit a sweet spot in Germany. Well, the German industry was looking to have websites that actually had different multi-language. You had like a role-based account, whatever. It's still in there. It's still huge. It's in 2 minutes. Okay. So my Twitter handle and I'm with Twitter. I think I'm user 1 million something. So I'm almost owned by Twitter. So my Twitter handle is T3 Reverend Never End. So sorry for the fact that you have invited me for that. Next slide, please. So we did a strategic roadmap in 2024 that we started. That is kind of the role of the association, is to actually govern that, to actually invite people to talk, invite customers to talk or users to talk, community members to talk about where we want to go with the product. It's interesting. I think others are doing things differently. They are succeeding maybe differently, and therefore I'm here also to speak about this. So next slide. So we're on the way for the next version, Tapestry version 14. So when I started, we were at version 3. So now we have every 18 months one release. It's PHP, MySQL, open. So yeah, next slide, last slide maybe. So if you look at the association, we have the members. The members of the association are the highest thing. That is why we are a fully member-owned project, right? We have a board, which I'm part of. We have a business control committee, which are elected members from the membership people, and they take care of controlling the whole thing. They're like kind of the blue helmets of Tapestry. So I think this is a big thing, and if I can give you one advice. If you're looking to create your own organization, please don't think only in technical projects, technical committees, and so on. Please also think to have your members being part of a controlling part. I started as a BCC member 15 years ago when the association was completely different, and we were able to actually put the members' interest first and not, oh yeah, there's this technical thing and there's that and that. And no, the members, they want to have the say. And this is what, if I can tell you, please have a look at our website. Time is over. And let me close with one thought that I read today on LinkedIn, that everything is like, everybody's on LinkedIn is, wow, we're so great and we're doing this and this, and everybody's, you know, so there's too much inspirational quotes on LinkedIn. Actually, websites are dead, but as dead as newspapers are, as dead as linear television is, as dead as your non-electric car is. I mean, we're all dead. Basically, we're all zombies. No. Long live the CMSs, long live the people behind the CMSs, the people using the CMSs. Let's not forget about that.
Thank you so much, Olivier. That's an optimistic view. Thank you for that. And personal opinion, WordPress should do more about, you know, looking in the enterprise world as Typo 3 is doing. But maybe that's just me or anybody else. We're 3. We're 4. We should. All right. So, moving on. Next presentation by Vlad. Come on, Vlad, on the stage. collective governance and how to fund it. The stage is yours.
Thank you, thank you. Oh my God, and my clicker even works. This is amazing. Yeah, let's give it a sec. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Vlad. Thanks for coming. It's amazing to be here. I actually used to live here and have lunch upstairs all the time, so it's super surreal to be speaking here. But I'm Vlad. I work on software and philosophy that contributes to the public good. I'm a maintainer of the open source pledge. I work on ThanksDev. And I'm also doing a PhD in the philosophy of exploitation at the University of Edinburgh, which we'll tie in with a little bit. I'm a cat sitter, so if you have any cats that need sitting, just let me know and we can figure it out. Thank you. All right, so 12 October 2024, Matt removes advanced custom fields from WordPress.org. All right, and so that's a great, so why boo is the topic of my talk, right? Let's think about it. So look, there's so many people here that know way more about WordPress than I do. I'm just gonna tell you my impressions and then we can talk about what makes sense to you guys. You know, removing the plugin from the package manager is basically a supply chain attack, right? Like people, you know, users are downloading certain software that they expect to do a certain thing, and then actually the software is taken out from under them and it's doing something else. That's scary. DHH says, what if this happened with NPM, right? So Microsoft owns GitHub and GitHub controls NPM. Imagine if Microsoft got into a dispute with Meta, they got into a fight, and then Microsoft says, I'm gonna take over React and we're gonna make it Microsoft React and it's gonna be different, right? Like that's not good. But why is it not good? And so I'm gonna give you my theory, okay? And we can talk about it together. I think this is deceptive illicit power. Okay, that's a lot of words, what does it mean? I think, so power, Stephen Luke says the power is the ability to affect someone contrary to their interests. And so this is quite transparently power because, you know, the owners of the websites, it's not in their interest for their software to be changed, right? It might also affect their job if their job depends on, you know, their WordPress websites. I think it's illicit because you'd think that it's for the user to have control over their website. It's not for some third party to control the website. But importantly, it's deceptive because when people, you know, sign up for, you know, to use WordPress, they don't think that this might happen, right? Like you don't think like, oh, someone might shuffle some things around in the package manager and change all my code. So this is especially bad because, you know, people say all the time when WordPress runs on, you know, 33% of the web. This affects a lot of people. If it's affecting a couple of people, it's, you know, still bad, but less of a deal. If it affects a lot of users of the internet, this is spooky, right? But what I want to talk about is DHH also says this is an unprecedented breach of open source norms. And then we have Ian Poulsen from WP Engine says that the removal of this plugin is inconsistent with open source values and principles. So, but what are these values and principles, right? Like it got me thinking, like, is it really violating specifically open source values and principles? Well, you know, obviously open source is a software license. It doesn't say stuff about governance. It says about what we can do with the software, right? But because it doesn't say any more than that, so, you know, basically Matt in an interview said, well, you know, if I started doing some evil monopoly stuff, people could just fork the software. And that's true, and that's great, right? And we love open source for that. But what people can't do is, you know, fork all of the entire ecosystem and then the services and everything that people depend on in WordPress. So, you know, if Nginx does something bad, you can fork Nginx and that's fine. But the people, you know, who maintain Nginx can't shut down your website, right? So that's a little bit different. And so basically open source can sometimes offer us a deceptive freedom because DHH says open source sometimes can provide the veil over true power and who has that power. And so we see that happening here because you think it's open source and we all share control and it's fine, but actually that's deceptive because one entity controls the software, right? So open source is about source code, but to prevent harmful power, we need norms about more than just the source code. We need norms about governance. So open source is not enough to prevent this kind of problem, right? What should we do? We should spread out software governance. This is very, you know, there's a lot of stuff to think about, but I'm just gonna talk about one or two things that pop up for me here. One thing is services, right? There's plenty of services like package managers that everyone uses, that everyone depends on, and companies should, you know, get together and maintain these together. There shouldn't be one company controlling the services that, you know, again, are in addition to the source code. Ideally, there would be some kind of like federated system situation where there's no one package manager or whatever, but there's, you know, a bunch of systems that work together. AspirePress, I think, is doing something like this. That's great. I don't know the details, but it sounds cool. The other thing I want to talk about is epistemic inclusion. So epistemic, again, funny word, just means related to knowledge. So what I mean here is including everyone's knowledge. So there's a difference in between, there's a difference in between two scenarios. One where the goal is predetermined by a party and we talk about things, just to seem like we're talking about things. And the other situation is deliberative governance, where we talk about what to do together, but then we have to explain our reasons for doing things. And so that's an exercise in deciding together, not just satisfying some predetermined outcome. So that's one thing that can be done. And that's especially important because people might be, a maintainer might be an expert in some technical thing, but no one person is an expert in everything, right? So everyone has epistemic blind spots, so blind spots of knowledge. And it's particularly important to work together to cover each other's weaknesses in that way. And this particularly relates to governance, And yeah, the other thing is people who are affected by a certain policy, like the website user, should probably have a say in how to shape it, not only because it affects them, but because they probably know best as the users, what should be done. Particularly when you exclude some people from the conversation, even, maybe it's people that you don't like or you think are bad, obviously there's all sorts of scenarios, but generally if you silence people, you're actually silencing way more people. And, I saw this talking to people in WordPress, people get intimidated and scared, and then, you're actually silencing a lot of the community that you'd want to have a conversation with. Last thing I want to talk about is funding. If, funding and governance are connected, right? So if you have someone who, there's one company funding an ecosystem, it's way easier for them to have control over it. If we have distributed funding, there's less of a chance for a monopoly of power. 5 for the Future has 2 buckets for funding. It has employee time and resources, but there's a bucket that we're missing out on. And here I want to talk about the Open Source Pledge, which is a project that I work on. The Open Source Pledge is an initiative where, thank you. The Open Source Pledge is an initiative where we ask companies to pay the maintainers of the software that they depend on. Right now we're saying the ask is $2,000 per developer employed at the company per year. This is in addition to employee time and resources, which many companies give and is amazing. And unlike 5 for the Future, this means that contributors can get paid even if they don't work for a company that is contributing to that project, right? Independent contributors can also get paid, and all the money goes to maintainers. We don't take any of the money. What we offer to companies that take the pledge is, marketing, and you can show that you're a thought leader by taking the pledge, which is a big deal for a lot of companies. We promoted our member companies in Times Square in October. We did it again in May. We also had this ad campaign that some people love, some people hate. It's slightly sassy. We're poking fun at executives that don't pay maintainers. We've raised over $2.5 million. Our members have. Thank you. Thank you. Over the past year. And these are some of our member companies. This initiative is funded by Sentry, and I'm very grateful for that. And Chad Whitaker does so much work to run this. This is our website. Come say hi. We welcome community discussion. And just to end, I want to say, let's not do BDFL anymore. When I hear BDFL, I just hear, oh, I haven't thought about governance. It's BDFL. It's supposed to be kind of cute. It's kind of coy. I don't think that's good. I don't think that helps to have us have good governance. A lot of people that I spoke to in the WordPress community were jaded, like, what can we do? And I understand that, and that's intimidating and upsetting. But at the same time, it's important for us to get together and decide what kind of governance we want to ask for, even if it's difficult. Open source gave us a brand and a set of principles for sharing software, and that's amazing, and we love open source, but maybe we need some kind of open governance, like set of principles that we can work on together, whatever that looks like. Let's think about this together, and I'm in the 5 for the Future channel in the Making WordPress Slack, and I'd love to talk to you there, and thank you so much.
That was great. That was great, Vlad. Thank you so much. Now that's what I call a novel perspective to things. All right, then. Moving on with our schedule. You can do that for me, yep. And now, what we have is a panel, a panel discussion moderated by Javier Casares. Javier, come on stage. And maybe you can introduce the guests?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to help? Let's see if this still works. All right.
You know them.
I know them. Well, they are the three speakers that we just had. Surprise, surprise. All right then, let me help them with the mics and we can start.
Okay, go. You have a micro, you can see it.
Yes, let's make sure the mics are also working.
Hello?
Greetings.
Open the mic. Can you check that? Yes.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Okay, so everything working? Yeah? Okay, so I'm Javier Casares. I'm a former hosting team rep in the WordPress community. As you know, I was banned for asking questions, so I'm back again. So I have a lot of questions I've had for some time, but if anybody has some questions for the panelists, yeah, okay, yeah, the experience. So if anybody has any question, I have some interesting questions, I think. So whatever. Any questions for any of them? No, I can start. And if you have any question. Okay, so for me, one of the main ones is since the previous WordCamp US and the start of the legal battle with WP Engine, and after the release of WordPress 6.7, contributors to the project have dropped a lot. I read somewhere like 80%, but whatever, it's a lot. What should happen to get people back to contributing to the project? Because, for example, I'm not yet contributing. I'm around, but I'm not doing the same I was doing 6 months ago.
I can have a very quick go. So again, many people here are way more familiar with WordPress than me, but it sounds to me like people understand that the current governance model is scary and that power is very centralized. And I think there can be a lot of sort of speech and a lot of materials about like it's going to be better. And I think that's great. But I think that probably there has to be some very concrete, very specific change with a new detailed governance model that, you know, shares power. Otherwise, I think people will see, hey, I've been tricked by this in the past and it can happen again, right? So there needs to be, I think, some kind of very clear plan for governance. And actually, I know people in the Fight for the Future channel are working on proposing something like that. And so I think that that's the way to go, and that's amazing. And I encourage everyone to join, because again, it shouldn't be like 1 or 2 people deciding, it should be the community getting together.
Anyone more? I have more questions.
I have an outsider view to that but I'm not sure if I can tell. So how is the release process organized of WordPress? I mean, it felt for me like when I saw the situation coming up that it's out of the sudden you're in a western city, a western town, silver town, and out of the sudden you hear, oh, this is a film set. It's not actually a real western town. So for me, also reading all the announcements, and it felt really like a sign of the time, right? With the bigger things happening in the world. So it was like kind of, please pinch me. Do we have this problem in the Typo 3 community, that people feel like they're contributing to something, but actually that out of the sudden there's a big trench or something that is built up? So for me, I was like dreaming. I was like saying, this must be like kind of a bad dream happening. What is going on? Are those people waking up to something that was not their world, and where they're living in kind of a like a bubble, like the other movie, you know, this guy that wakes up every morning and finds out and says, has this life, and then she finds out that, oh, there's actually a film set.
It's all fake.
Yeah, I don't know the name. It's with the what? And what was the? Okay, the Truman Show. But his name was not Matt, right? Okay. All right. So, just to give you the answer. So, I think that a project is all about how fast can someone contribute to it, and how good at the end is the governance of that. So how can people contribute? Is there a known consensus on how decisions are taken? And at the end, with Typo3, we have one guy who's able to press the button to do the release, but there's 5 others that also know how to do it. So there's not, so that is my answer.
Can I ask Olivier a very quick question? I'm curious, has the whole WordPress stuff that's been going on made you think, whoa, like, are we doing everything well in typo-free? Like, do I want to double check everything?
Yes,
and like,
sure.
are there any changes that we need to make it more transparent and to make sure that nothing happens?
Behind the very first feeling that you have this awkward feeling of like, oh, what's going on in there? You have always a sincere feeling of, okay, are we really not having the risk of creating such a same situation, because maybe there's some people having special rights. So this is what made us think a little bit. So as I said, we're discussing certain things. I have looked into the Apache Software Foundation's way of doing things. They're doing some things very well because all the projects have the same governance level. That's from the practical side. I don't know if they're good at executing on that, but it felt to me that it's good to have in a world where you have multiple teams to have at least one common pattern of taking decisions. How are decisions made? And I love democracy. I love majorities, but I love also more built up being on consensus. So, and this doesn't, because democracy also at the moment, and I studied political science just to tell you. So I love your Habermas. I saw him. So once again, it's all about that. So this is to give you the answer. It made us think, and it has not left anyone cold. And I don't know in which dimensions people live sometimes, but hey, these are real people. They have feelings. You can't do this. It's not the Truman Show.
So talking about governance, there are multiple kinds of governance model in the open source projects. Given what has happened with WordPress and from an utopian point of view, what do you think is the best, maybe existing model in this case for WordPress? Yeah, that's a tricky one, eh?
Can I say something? I don't think I can answer that, but I can talk a little bit about our experiences at the FCEF. I mean, I think, like was just said by my co-panelist here, that the whole situation made a lot of people think. And of course, at the FCEF, we've had governance history. There is the thing that matters is of course trust, but what we're talking about is layered in so many different ways that it's really difficult to discuss it and really pinpoint the right way for an organization, because it's such a personal experience, I think, as well. I think the founding of WordPress, but of any free software project, I think probably came from a really good place. So I think it is important to also keep that in mind when you're talking about its future. And the situation that we're in right now is that people lost trust that whatever is given to WordPress is going to the right place. And I think it is important that whenever an organization runs into a loss of trust like that, like the FSF has had an experience with as well, you take a step back and you go, okay, so what trust did we betray, and how can we fix it, or how can we get that trust back? But there isn't, I don't think that there's one way to do that, unfortunately. I think it depends a lot on the intention of the people involved. Yeah.
In our history of Typo 3, we had the thought of having a second product. And this product never arrived. People in the community and members that were funding the development of that second product became quite angry at the people that were developing that. In that time, we chose a path of peace. So communities, they tend to form clusters of adversing parties, and the adversing parties become more and more complex as more as you go through a conflict. And things are said, people are hurt, and this leads to a escalation. And being means that you need to always go the path of peace. Always try to listen to everyone, but also try to find a future path and for that. And I can only urge the WordPress community, the moment the lawyers come in, it starts to really get very hot and very smelly, and you don't want to be part of that. That is my experience. What you need to do is actually speak to each other, don't hypocrize it, and say, okay, what do we really want? And find others, and I think this is what is actually happening in the community, is that you're trying to find alternatives to a more peaceful way of doing things. So I'm always joking about the fork, the knife, and the spoon. So maybe think more of a spoon, that, you know, spoons are stable, are put on top of each other. So be a peaceful spoon.
It's a good motto. I want to say something about funding there. Actually, I want to quote something that Chad Whitaker has written about on OpenPath. So, you know, one of the things that Matt has said is, you know, oh, Automatic is contributing so much to the development of WordPress, and, you know, wouldn't it be nice to have that spread out? Well, again, I don't know the perfect solution, but I find it really interesting that Drupal, you know, Dries has sort of pioneered like a system with Drupal that I you know, it seems to be helpful, and at the very least I respect it a lot that, you know, he's been putting a lot of effort into thinking about this, where, you know, he's also talked about, you know, he has this thing about makers and takers, like balancing, you know, if you're a company that invests both into your commercial products and also into contributing to open source, well, then you have, you know, you're not investing 100% into your commercial offering, whereas a company that doesn't contribute can invest more and sort of have a competitive advantage. And what, you know, the, you know, Drupal solution has to do with like tracking contributions, you know, to quite a detailed degree, much more detailed than is currently done on Five for the Future. And then very concrete steps about how to promote the companies that contribute in different ways and so on. And again, I don't know that that like solves everything, but I think Dries's work on Drupal is already something that, if it were adopted by WordPress, might already make progress towards solving that funding issue. So it's worth a try, I think.
Okay, so more or less 1 year ago, we'll officially, I'm going to to say this in this way, officially we learned that WordPress.org is Matt's website. So I want to ask about license in this way, because when we talk about open source and GPL and this, we only focus on the code. We have a lot of license for content, for different things, but GPL doesn't talk about everything related to the code, because WordPress depends on WordPress.org. So should license include in, I don't know what way, everything related, or what's the solution for that? Because you cannot use WordPress without the website. Technically, you can change everything and do a lot of things, but is there like a license or what's the solution for this? Not only for WordPress, but for all the projects, because, okay, you may have a foundation, an association, the association may have the trademark, the website, but this is not the case for WordPress. So what's the solution in this case?
So I don't think that should be included in the software license, which is its own thing. But I do think that you make a great point that we need to, set out sort of not regulations, but like sets of rules that like the community would like to see for that. And so, if you think about it, you might have different kinds of governance go with different kinds of software licenses, right? So I would make it a separate thing that ideally something like that would come out of this Fight for the Future discussion, for example.
No, and finish.
That was it, yeah.
No. Tell and if you want. Okay. I know you want.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for your presentations. My name is Milana Cap. I'm representative of documentation team for WordPress. And I have a question. Does Typo 3 need documentation? No, just kidding.
We do, every day. Every morning we wake up.
I want to ask for, coming from a project where members are running it, and I saw you have teams and everything. So as someone who is experienced and long-time contributor, how can I pay attention to what's happening? I'm just coming there and contributing. And now I'm kind of managing the team, but I don't really think about anything else. So what are the signs of healthy open source project? What should I look at? What questions should, there is tomorrow a question time. I want to ask a question to Matt. So what are the questions to be asked that we make sure that we steer somehow this project to right direction?
That's a tough one.
I know.
I don't know what is the actually, in politics you would actually come up with some kind of a contract, or if in a society you somehow kind of a contract that is a natural contract coming out, because you're part of the community. You have your rights and you have your duties. So I can't tell you. I think that what open source communities have experienced is that they actually went and slided into things. No, there was nobody who actually told them, you have to do this, you have to manage this in this way. So there's a lot of people that are are sliding into a situation where they actually need to take care of certain governments, written governance. They have to be taught about it. It has to be lived. You have to create a safe space, an atmosphere of trustful and meaningful conversations. But you also have maybe to set yourself goals. As a community, we want to achieve, we want to maybe make people have a better onboarding experience, not only installing the product, but also contributing to the project. And this is where we're really struggling at the moment, because people, they liked, there's this one term, it's called drive-by commitments, right? People commit to something because it's scratching their itch at the moment. It's easy to do a pull request. But the whole thing is that at the end, this one pull request becomes a collective burden, or a collective insurance that everybody has actually to pay for. And I think this is coming to documentation. I think documentation is the most underrated feature of a project. And I know that vendors that are selling their software, they would love to have this open source documentation. They would love to have their their users actually contributing to it. So make the contribution as easy as possible, but also make it more as visible as possible. And I think this is what, for example, Drupal is doing very, very well with their karma system and all of that, what they're doing. I think this is really, really good. And I think everybody should actually look at how maybe, for example, Drupal is doing that. My answer to that.
Another question?
Can I just paddle back a little bit on the, I think the situation that we're looking at is not, it's not a free software issue. It's not a, so it's not a license issue either. We can't start making rules and put them under the NOMER of open source, because there will always be people that will govern in a way that you don't agree with. And when you support an organization, you put your trust into a group of people. And I think it's important to remember that this is indeed a governance issue more than anything else. And I think as a community, that part that you're talking about, having the conversation, being open, being listening to other people, and hopefully making it clear that you had an idea of one path and that's not the path you're on anymore. That's the part that is the difficult conversation, but that's the conversation that needs to be had. And how do we get together looking forward at the same path again?
Okay. No questions? Yeah? Oh, okay, I have one. I have a lot, so I can. So one thing that also I've been seeing around WordPress is the volunteer burnout. So it's a recurring issue in open source communities. I think in WordPress is mostly because there are no clear boundaries, and also maybe it's because the recognition in the WordPress community is very limited, because usually we are focused on PRs and everything happening in the platform and not outside. That's something for the fight for the future. But how software communities address the burnout, and how can we apply that into WordPress in this case?
Just a quick thing. I think it's complicated because I think people, it's debated what causes burnout. Like DHH says, oh, well, it's not money, it's recognition that gets people to burn out. That's not my experience personally, but so people disagree on this, which is fine. But at least with the open source pledge, one thing that we're concerned about is, you have people who maintain really critical open source software who burn out because they can't do that work as part of working hours, right? Like they have to do their job and then they do the open source work as part of a second shift. And then they're exhausted, which completely makes sense, right? So in my personal impression, it's hugely a funding thing, right? Like if people can afford to, or if people can be paid to work on the stuff that they're maintaining, in what I've seen, at least the chance of burnout drops.
I have a different opinion, or maybe a different view on that. I think that if you look at open source communities, you often find people that are very dedicated to the purpose, right? And they give their talents to the thing, right? And the problem is that, and I was joking with Ryan when I came, and I said to him, remember when we started to code, the addictive feeling that you get, and one of the freedoms is about to do with the software whatever you want. So this is like and then this is really like gives me the goosebumps at the moment, is that it actually using software that it enables you to do that thing that you want to do is it's like a drug. And I think people, and everybody wants to be part of a big thing, everybody of a bigger cause, right? And this is in our somewhere hidden in us, and you get maybe burned out, for whatever reasons. It's a serious psychological condition that has no one single source. And I would not say that it's money that is causing people to burn out or the lack of money. I think it's a whole bag of things. And so to give you, I think it's not easy to answer that question. Therefore, it's the duty of a community to take care of others. There was one guy that organizes CMS Africa, Odur, from Kenya, and we were confined during COVID, and we were not able to do a conference in somewhere. And he organized a conference, and he was part of it. And he said, we in Kenya, we started to care for others. We had to ask them, how are you doing? And this is what I can tell you. Ask the question, how are you doing? Every time. Don't go right to the point, okay, what did you do with pull request number 25? No, how are you doing? How are you feeling at the moment? And really give yourself the time to listen to every one of your people that is around you, and take care of them. So, and if people show signs of burnout, and Caspar had an interview some years ago, and he said, while many people think that I gave Typo 3 to the community, I felt burnout at that time. So think of that. It happens to everyone. It happens to the top leaders. It happens to everyone here that we don't have the right feeling. So take care of each other, please. We have long minutes in Switzerland.
Okay. Come here.
The trains are punctual, actually.
I don't need the Typo 3 Two Typo 3 people. Cool. No. Okay, so, I mean, we have gone into the license part and the legal stuff. And one question I wanted to ask you, we work a lot and we talk a lot about the license and the importance of the license. But should there be a more formal social contract in open source?
I'm not going to answer that, so everybody thinks that we did that.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think the beauty about free software and open source is that people love what they do. I mean, to go back to your question previously, I think 96% of all code bases have free software in it now. I think studies show that out of all the free software projects, about 80% have either one or two developers. That's it's intense, but these people really care about what they're doing, clearly, as do most contributors to projects. And a lot of bigger projects these days have communities, and they can look out for each other, and they can talk to each other. And I think talking about a social contract that encompasses all of free software. Remember, 96% of all code bases, so that's your car, your computer, your television, all of it. I don't think we'll find a social contract that can do all of that. So talk to your community. Start small and talk within your community, within your group. Make agreements that you can follow and that you can live by, and that make you care for each other.
So that was the last question because we don't have time. Tak, I don't know if Takis wants to say something. If not, okay, you are here. If you can just go close. So thank you for being here, for answering the questions. And I think now we have half an hour.
We have, who can show the slide with the... That is if we can show the slides. We're going to take a break for about 30 to 40 minutes. You can all go upstairs and grab something to eat or drink. You're entitled to a 10 Swiss francs voucher to take to the vendors upstairs. Yep. Oh, I was going to do it afterwards.
Oh, which one? No, sorry. Can I just get everyone's attention before you move? So as Taka said, please use your
now that it is open.
Hello. Shall we play a game? Just before we start off, and Takas, right? You stand up and you go to the left, to the left. Oh, no one did it. Come on. Can people please move to the left if you've got space to the left? We need some spaces on the right-hand side. So if you're in the far right, we need seats. To the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. I know, I'm not a known person. That's later at the Pride party. All right, we're good to go. Other things, just remember there is water by the bar because I don't want you all to sweat and then have a heat stroke. And yeah, if you don't want your photo taken, make sure you have a no photo lanyard. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
All right. Thank you for the announcement. And welcome back, everyone. Are you having a good time? All right. All right. So let's start with the second part of our program. And I would like to give the stage to Charlotte here, who has a message to the community concerning the sustainability team, which is trying to revive again. Charlotte, please come over.
Thank you so much, Takis. Some of you already know this, and some of you have already signed this, but yesterday during Contributor Day, we decided we wanted to reinstate the sustainability team to their former official status. So we are gathering up as much names as possible to offer to Mary and hopefully also Matt, to show them how many people think this is important. So if you haven't signed this petition, I will just share this around the audience, like beginning with you. And if you haven't signed this and you find this important, please sign it. And we will offer this tomorrow to Mary, hopefully also to Matt. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to our next presentation by Sarah Reed, getting to the heart of open source. It's time, it's time. There you go.
I was just gonna dance. Oh, that was good. Okay. Hi. Thanks for all being here. Don't look at your phones. No reason. No reason. Look at your phones in like 25 minutes. That is not how long my talk is. That's just when you should look at your phones. Okay. All right. I don't have a slide deck. I don't know if you noticed that. So it's just me. All right. It's never just me. We're all together here. All right. WordPress was not built by just one person. Come again? Yeah, no true open source project ever is. Sure, one person can write a piece of software, slap a license on it, and call it open source. But the magic of open source isn't the license. An open source license only opens the door. The magic of open source happens the moment another person walks through that door and engages with the software. The magic is in a stranger filing a pull request that fixes a bug that you couldn't fix, in a new use case implemented by someone on the other side of the world, in the development of plugins and products that expand the ecosystem. It is collaboration that brings open source to life. When we forget that, when we allow a single narrative, a single company, or a single person to dominate, something vital gets lost. We start to believe that community is unnecessary, that collaboration is less efficient than centralization. I've heard that argument a lot. Rule by committee, so inefficient. Working in the open is hard. It is. It's true. It's always harder to work with others. It's easy to do something by ourselves in our own way. We don't have to change. We don't have to be challenged. But it is in that challenge that we find the greater possibilities that we may have never even imagined were possible on our own. In tech, we hear a lot about the single visionary leader, but I don't believe in that myth. Sure, one person can have a unique vision, absolutely, but when has one person ever done anything on their own? Do the visionary leaders that you know build their own computer chips? Yeah, weird, I know. Do they lay the fiber that brings them the internet? They do not, thank you, I appreciate that. No, they rely on infrastructure. They rely on other people, just like all of us. Collaboration is the root of innovation. It is how we have survived and evolved as a species. It is a fundamental part of being human, and the only way we have gotten to where we are. Collaboration is also a fundamental part of WordPress. It has been a fundamental part of WordPress since before WordPress was WordPress. And despite attempts to rewrite history or downplay the significance of more than 20 years of volunteer labor, WordPress is still a shining example of what long-term collaboration can create. Because the truth is, WordPress exists today as it does because thousands of people across hundreds of countries decided to collaborate and to keep collaborating. Writing code, documentation. That's you, right? That's you. That's Milana. Thank you. Got you. It counts. Okay. All right. Translations. Where's Pierre Mario? It's like, oh, it's, do you do translations? There you go. Where's my translations crew? Okay, I know you're here. There's 3 languages in this country. We're definitely translating it. 4. There are 4 languages in this country. What's the 4th language? Okay. I'm gonna look that up later. All right. So translations, yeah. Leading teams, hosting meetups, organizing camps. I don't know if you've done that before. Starting companies. These are holding doors open. This is sharing, helping. So there's this quote, it's very American. Bear with me. It's a quote, it resurfaces, at least in America, or in the United States, during difficult times. It's a line from Mr. Rogers, if you're familiar. He is basically the American patron saint of kindness. So if you don't know who he is, that's who he is. He said, look for the helpers. That is the spirit that lives in WordPress. WordPress is a community full of helpers. That is part of what makes us special. We want to work together. We want to build something better than we could build by ourselves. We see it, we recognize it, we feel it, especially when we're at WordCamp. And we want to help. We just do. We like it. Do you guys like helping? You're into helpers? You're helpers, bunch of helpers, yeah. All right, WordPress, it's good. It's all right. WordPress isn't trademarked, just so you know. It's the new name. Yeah. Right, someone get the .com, okay. So the WordPress has an ethos, and it is not democratizing publishing. Yeah. The ethos of WordPress, the feeling we get from our community, that is different. It is our collective understanding that we are building this together. That is what makes WordPress feel like home to so many of us. It's the interaction, it's the sharing, it's the connection. It's the people. The WordPress community is not ornamental, it is not extra, it is foundational. You might even say it's the WordPress Foundation. It is the reason we are all here. Without this web of human collaboration, there is no global WordPress ecosystem. Without collaboration, there wouldn't even be something called WordPress at all, because not only was it born from and as a collaborative project, the very name WordPress was conceived by a member of the burgeoning community who wasn't even a technical person. So it didn't count. Just kidding. It does count, turns out. A lot. It's important. All right, so it is precisely this ethos of collaboration that is currently being devalued. Right now, we are at a crucial crossroads. And no, I do not mean a fork in the road. A fork is a choice between two divergent paths. A crossroad is an opportunity to choose an entirely new direction, to do things differently. Right now, we all have the opportunity to decide what kind of community we are and what kind of community we want to be. Do we want to be the collaborative community that we all thought we were for the last 2 decades, working together for the common good? Yeah, no, yeah. Okay, I'm kind of into that one. All right. Or do we want to be an authoritative community where ideas can only be blessed from on high and any dissent is dismissed? Quite literally. Actually, it's banned. And then unbanned. Okay. Look, collaboration isn't easy. I'm aware of this. Misunderstandings happen. Things can be lost in translation, even when we're speaking the same language. But that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Sometimes we need to hash things out so we can get to a greater understanding. Sometimes we need to be challenged so we can get out of our own heads. Sometimes we need to speak up for others, and sometimes we need to stand up for ourselves. So let me tell you, from my own personal experience, that isn't always comfortable. And it is not always, sometimes, but not always fun. It has not been fun for me to have my character disparaged on a global scale. No. It is not fun to miss my first WordCamp Europe contributor day because project leadership refused to acknowledge my code of conduct report. None of this is comfortable for me. I do not enjoy being the one continually bringing up the issues. I do not seek conflict, despite what you have probably heard. But I will also not run away from it, because assuming positive intent should not be used as a shield for accountability. Thank you. It's true. And silence is not the same thing as harmony. If we want WordPress to survive this moment, we need collaboration more than ever. I want you to know I'm not going to make that 1 minute. just letting you know. Usually I talk a lot faster, but this one's coming from the heart, so it's slower. If we want WordPress to survive this moment, we need collaboration more than ever. Because this moment is not just about how the WordPress community works. As we face this existential crossroads in WordPress, we're also living through a historical industry shift that is affecting all of humanity. No big deal. It's just humanity. Whatevs. Because AI has entered the chat. That is right, yes. Quite literally in the form of all the chatbots, like chatbot mania. But also figuratively because WordPress now has our little AI team Slack channel. Shout out to Core AI. Oh yeah. No, okay. Everyone's like, Okay, because of AI, some people might believe, or some people might have us believe, that the human part of open source doesn't matter anymore. That community is outdated or unnecessary. That what we've built together for more than 2 decades can now be streamlined and made more efficient, more convenient without us. I want to be clear, I am into AI, okay? Like a proper tech person, that's good. All right, I use it daily and I am fascinated by the possibilities. But here's the thing, AI can generate code. It cannot generate community. It's true. It can reflect, but it cannot create. It only has the information that we have given it. And while people are absolutely feeding their AIs wild things, like wild things, we can't even explain to ourselves half of what's in our brains. So how are we putting that into a chat prompt? No, we are different. AI can never be human, but that's okay, because we don't need it to be human, because we are the humans. I think we're all humans, right? Yes, okay, just checking. So whether it's with, and whether it's with other humans, like every other movement and community in all of human history, or it's with machines in our uncharted future, when humans collaborate, awesome things happen. All right, so what does any of this mean? Say, what does it mean? I ask myself, you may ask me. That's nice. What are we supposed to do with our feelings? I will tell you what I think we should do. First, we must discard the pretense that this community belongs to one person. That's fundamental. Our contributions, your contributions, are the true foundation of WordPress. And then we reclaim our community. We keep showing up. We keep speaking up. We don't leave people behind. Hi, like me. Hi, I'm over here. We don't accept two sets of rules. We refuse to be used, and we refuse to be erased. We care enough not to leave. We acknowledge that collaboration is what has brought us this far, and we recognize that it is what will take us into the future. We reclaim collaboration, and we infuse it into this project at every opportunity. And then, together, we demand more. We demand accountability. We demand transparency. The heart of open source is collaboration. And the heart of WordPress is our community. It is a rare and beautiful and very, very human thing. This community is worth protecting. It is worth staying for. It is worth fighting for, because this is our community. WordPress belongs to all of us. Thank you.
All right then. That was a powerful message indeed. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to our next speaker. If we can, oh, maybe I can do it myself. No, I can't. I can do it. Excellent. Matt Leach from AspirePress. The stage is yours. Thank you.
How does the clicker work? Which one? Left and right. Oh, there I am. That's me. Look at my big head. I wouldn't have said yes to switching if I knew I had to follow that. So. Can everyone hear me at the back? Great. You have a QR code on your face. I do, yeah. Oh, there we go. There we go. Is that better? Great. Apologies in advance if I'm looking at notes. My bag didn't arrive with me on my flight, so I haven't got any glasses, and I've been like up all night dealing with that, so just bear with me. No, I'm okay. I'm okay. So look, my name's Matt. I'm part of AspirePress. Just a very quick run through. I've been developing for about 20 years. WordPress for over half of that. I've worked with some really cool brands. I imagine you've heard of most of them there. I've worked with lots of small brands you wouldn't heard of, but WordPress is featured heavily in a lot of the work that I've done for everybody that I've put up there. And that's mainly in sort of working with creative agencies based in England. And I'm down on the south coast if anybody's been there. Lovely. We do actually have beaches and good weather maybe 2 weeks of the year. So. AspirePress. AspirePress is a community-driven open source set of packages. The goal is to decentralize WordPress and support the supply chain. We exist to develop free resources for the WordPress community. At its core, we're a package mirror allowing free distribution of plugins and themes, with no one person holding the keys. We exist to promote WordPress. We're not trying to compete with it. There's a WordPress community, and we want to help WordPress really become the platform we aspire it to be. Aspire. So we've got the 4 packages. I'm going to go through 2 of them in a bit more detail after this. But so we've got Aspire Cloud, which is over here. There you go. That's the CDN. That's the endpoint. So that's so this might be a little bit. I tried to keep the tech a little bit light because I wasn't sure what the room was. Can you guys at the back still hear me? Good, good, good. So yeah, Aspire Cloud. So that's the CDN. That's like the endpoint. This is used for distributing WordPress assets such as themes, plugins, core updates to all users of Aspire Update. This is the server that responds to the API calls and the package updates. It's in production now, and it has active development. I'll talk about that in a minute. We've got Aspire Sync. That's the sourcing. So this downloads and updates the canonical WordPress plugins and themes repository. Hopefully everyone's on board so far. This is in production now as well, and it essentially keeps all the packages up to date. And we've got Aspire Update, which I'll show you a demo of in this thing here. This is the actual plugin that you can download now. Version 1 was released 2 days ago. I was sat in the airport as that went up. And 1.1 will be released on Monday after some work on it this morning, actually. But yes, you can download that now from the website. And also, you can see everything in GitHub. It's all open. You can download it there as well. And then we've got Aspire Explorer. This is a stateless system, no local storage. It's built as a WordPress plugin. It talks to any instance of Aspire Cloud that might be spun up. Certainly go on GitHub and read more about how that works. And it's in a preview release. And I'll show a demo of that as well. Cool, okay. Good start. Cool, so yeah, Aspire Update. So I'm going to flick to a little video. We'll see if this works. I think it worked earlier. Yep, so this is me. I recorded this a few days ago, sat in my little office. So yeah, Aspire Update is a plugin that's available to download now, as I mentioned earlier. And in simple terms, it handles the URL rewriting for fetching updates. It's just a simple download and install. So this is a production website. It's a brochureware site. It uses the standard sort of set of WordPress plugins you might see on a production site for like a brochureware for a business. Yes. Oh, yeah, yeah. There we go. Yeah. Look how tidy my downloads was as well. I did delete it all quickly. So yeah, so once you've installed this, it's available to do now. You get this familiar screen that we're all aware of, and you can configure the settings there, tick that there, and then it's available to use. That's it. We've got a series of API hosts that we support out of the box. We don't remove WordPress.org. I think it's really important that we don't do that. And we still give you, and we default to our API Aspire Cloud, or you could use your own custom Aspire Cloud instances as well. I've enabled debugging for the purpose of this demo, which you're about to see. So what's happening now, I'm sure you've all seen this before, but I'm running update on a plugin, redirection. Everyone should know what that is. And that's run through Aspire Update. That's not gone to .org. That's come to our endpoint there. And I'm going to, hopefully this looks, there you go, you can see it up there. So that's the rewrite of the URLs there that's happened. I probably would have made that bigger if I knew the screen was going to be this big. So yeah, so that is Aspire Update just in action. But yeah, if it wasn't clear earlier, it operates as an API and a pseudo pull-through cache against the WordPress.org instance. It attempts to deliver the resource, and then if it can't, it passes through to .org. So you always have that response for the end user. Not throw it this time. What we've got next is Aspire Explorer. This is a front-end sort of browser-based preview asset that we've put, the package that we've put together. It's available now on the Sandbox website. You'll be able to find it through our GitHub and through our website. Publicly, it basically is just a fast, efficient way of showing all of the different packages that we put together in action. You can install it as a plugin as well if you wanted to. Plugins are only available at the moment. Themes are coming to follow. The roadmap will be, filtering, sorting out. Well, yeah, no, this is the thing. No, so bear with me. Bear with me. I've never installed this, but I wanted to be clear that by searching for it, it still returns. And I think it's really important that we're not removing anything. We could, but we're not doing that. And I think that's important that we don't do that. But we really hope that all. I'm sorry. I would have put something else up there. Yeah, I've never used it, so I don't know. But what we're hoping is that all the packages that we've put together really do sort of jump into a major step of enabling the independence from .org and enforcing the supply chain and working towards true independence. And we couldn't do that without partners like Fastly. So hopefully this makes sense to everyone. But globally, Fastly has 97 points of presence. Automatic has 27. Because we're not removing Automatic, we're not looking to replace that, we're combining. So that does create 124 data centers. Yes, I spelt centers that way. I'm sorry if that upsets anyone. But no, I know this is the biggest barrier for these things to get off the ground, and we've got a great partnership with Fastly already. So we have a highly available delivery platform and the architecture to support the packages. It's all available now, and these things only work with guys like Fastly. So yeah, and I've actually speed run through this, so that's always good. There's a big fat QR code there that you might be able to scan from the back of the room. I don't know if that's going to... I thought, how big do I make it? But yeah, look, Sarah started AspirePress. Sarah sadly can't be here today, but she is watching on that camera now. But she started this in October. Our Slack team now, we've got over 180 members. We've got project teams delivering some really cool stuff. I've banged some names up there. Some you may know, some are in this room. And a couple of special thanks to others, especially to all of you for listening to me talk. Look, the suite of packages that we've put together and the infrastructure that we've actually stood up creates a foundation for a robust and resilient supply chain, which I think is something that I'll be surprised for anybody in this room to think that that's a bad thing. We're proud of the work that we've done, and I'm privileged to have been part of it with the people far more intelligent than me that are involved in this. And I'm just hoping we can encourage the community to share our vision into decentralizing WordPress. So thanks, guys. God. Does it work from the back of the room? Good stuff.
Excellent work. Thank you so much, Matt. And you know one website that is definitely using AspirePress? Ctrl Org. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. All right, so moving on, trying to move on. Still trying. You know. All right, moving on to our last bit of this evening. Another panel that is going to be moderated by Francesca. Participating will be Joost. I think you know him. Say. We would also have loved to have Sarah with us, but we know she couldn't make it, in the last minute. So an applause to Sarah as well. And the stage is yours, friends, to discuss the future of WordPress and perhaps also answer the burning question, is pineapple good on pizza?
Let's start with the real important stuff. Pineapple is good on pizza. I don't know. It's just good. I'm fine with that. So thank you everyone for the warm welcome. I haven't done public speaking in a while, so I'm extremely, extremely nervous. But it feels good because there's a lot of familiar faces here and a lot of good people. And there's a tiny detour from the schedule, if you don't mind. I can invite you here, folks, friends. Well, not everyone yet, our TC for now. So you probably weren't expecting to see some of these people on stage. I know. I was not expecting to see them on stage. But we have something really important to share before we move on to our last session of the day. I have to put on my glasses. So last year at WordCamp US, the WordPress community changed permanently. In the events that followed, we saw the problems that came from having a single point of failure, especially one without governance. Across the ecosystem, people began asking, what could we do instead? So different groups started forming, each exploring ways to better protect and grow the ecosystem. Not everyone could do this work publicly. There were risks for reputations and livelihood. Some were blocked and then unblocked, or attacked for even raising questions. But that didn't stop the conversation. It might have actually fueled it a little bit more. So before we dive in with the guests tonight, we'd like to invite everyone who could make it here to Basel and worked on our project and it's ready to be public about it. Please come up on stage if you're comfortable with it. And stand with us because this work really belongs to all of us. So please join us. Thank you. Can I swear? Fuck me, this is really exciting. Sorry. So yeah, let's move on with the serious business.
Hello? Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Hi, everybody. First of all, again, Sarah couldn't join us tonight. Hello, Sarah. But we'd like to make sure that the entire AspirePress is also recognized in all of this. So throughout the last 3 months of the year, something powerful was happening. Certainly. You got me? All right, cool. Throughout the last 3 months of the year, something powerful was happening. Small groups were forming everywhere. AspirePress was founded. Then, in early December, the repository published an anonymous letter from over 20 core contributors. And in working with my corporate clients, I suddenly faced a critical reality. We had to fortify the supply chain and fix this dangerous single point of failure. Joost and I didn't wait. We immediately started conversations around a concept for decentralized infrastructure from multiple trusted sources. But we knew we needed more voices, more perspectives. So we shared our thinking publicly, proposing 2 key ideas. First, fix the supply chain. Second, ensure transparent alignment between businesses and technical leadership. What happened next was electric. Those quiet groups started talking to each other, and those conversations continued, and they turned into action across time zones, across company boundaries, across roles. We found we were not alone. The coalition began, and?
Hi. As a contributor for the past 20 years, I was very surprised to find out I'd been blocked from contributing without explanation. That was what led me to sign the contributor letter, with all of us hoping to build a bridge and talk about the problems openly. The response that we got for that letter made it clear, though, we needed more than just conversation. We needed to start building. Across all of the groups, we had a huge variety of talent and ideas about what to tackle, as well as existing projects that we could leverage. We started by clearly identifying the technical and product challenges that existed. Not only did we have a single point of failure, we had a system which was designed to centralize everything into one place. We knew that we had to create both an alternative to that central system today, as well as build something more future-proof and more decentralized.
So we started with a phased plan. First, a drop-in replacement for WordPress.org's APIs, either replacing them entirely with an alternative server or reworking the functionality entirely. For the immediate alternative, we started with AspirePress. Pulling in a copy of the existing plugin and theme repositories, giving us an amazing starting point. We then identified and replaced every other centralized API that WordPress uses, including Gravatar, browser, and server version checks, events, news feeds, and even emoji assets. In the process, we didn't just replace these one-to-one, we improved them. A good example of this is the Browse Happy functionality. This checks if your browser is up to date. The check for this in WordPress today is using browser versions that are 8 years old. Even worse, it sends them off to WordPress.org, which collects this analytics data, meaning that this functionality only exists right now for tracking. We replaced this with a check built into our plugin, running only on your site without sending data elsewhere, and powered by Browsers List, the industry standard.
For the second phase, we decided to rethink plugin and theme updates entirely. While we often think of WordPress as being a centralized system dependent on .org, in reality, it's already partially decentralized with premium plugins and tools like Andy Fragen's Git Updater. What if we could build a system that recognized this and actually built for it? It was important that we didn't start from scratch, but rather looked at existing solutions. We took inspiration from existing package managers like Composer and Linux package managers. We also looked at existing decentralized systems like Blue Sky's @protocol. Security and privacy are both at the heart of the system that we designed, woven into the protocol itself. Code signing provides authenticity and trust, while also providing a way to mirror packages. And with the Cyber Resilience Act on the horizon, our system helps developers include security contact information and properly identify security updates. Crucially, we also designed the system to incorporate the commercial ecosystem from the start, providing users with the ability to search and find premium plugins and themes within their admin right alongside the free options. In doing this, we created a brand new system which will provide security, data portability, independence, and decentralization, while providing users with the same simple process for installing new plugins and themes as they have today.
We call it Federated and Independent Repositories, or FAIR for short, and we're making it available today for everyone. FAIR allows anyone to host their own packages wherever they want, giving them full control over how it's managed. The use of decentralized identifiers, a W3C standard, allows moving your packages to a new repository in the future. So you could start on a hosted repository and then move it to your own hosting later. An aggregation system acts as a search engine for this distributed web of repositories, allowing users to easily find and install new packages no matter where those packages are. Anyone can build their own aggregator, providing the possibility for curated directories to better guide users, or for lockdown repositories that meet strict enterprise requirements. Moderation services for additional checks can be built on top, providing a brand new environment for services, including moderating bad actors and closing plugins and themes. Users can select multiple moderation service layers on top, which opens up the possibility for commercial offerings such as security stands. Commercial packages can be listed, along with instructions on how to get access and direct integration for premium keys or required logins. This is cool. For the first time, users can discover any solution to the problem when they search, including free and paid options, while having the same security guarantees that were previously only available to packages hosted on .org. And FAIR is designed to scale. With cryptographic signatures built into the heart of the system, hosts can securely mirror packages to reduce bandwidth and serve their users more efficiently, lowering operational costs without compromising user trust.
Today, Today, we're publishing the first version of our self-installable plugin for everyone to use. We're also publishing a WordPress distro that bundles the plugin with WordPress in a single zip, allowing users and hosts to easily swap Fair into their existing pipelines. We're also publishing the code to run your own repository for developers already using Git Updater. But let's be clear, this is just the beginning. Our protocol, thank you. Our protocol specification represents a start, but we want to work together with broader feedback from the community to shape our direction forward. We also have a proof of concept implementation for installing Fair packages with a roadmap for the discovery, moderation, and analytics components to fully empower the system, and we welcome contributions from everyone to help drive these forward. This project isn't just a technical fix. It's about restoring independence, empowering innovation, and rebuilding trust. We've baked that into every part of the system. If you share that vision, now's the time to join in. Test the system, contribute code, and be vocal in the community. Our GitHub repositories are now public and open for everyone to use.
We built this for you. We built it for the community and the entire ecosystem. We believe that if you want to go far, you got to go together. Yeah. And throughout this effort, we've worked as a team of over 50 direct contributors to design and build this project with input from hundreds of others across the ecosystem. We want to specifically thank the AspirePress team for their work and for joining us, Blue Sky for their feedback and work to help us use their decentralized infrastructure, Fastly for supporting us with the CDN, and for partners who have helped us test and provide feedback. We also want to thank our new home for the project, who we've worked with extensively to launch this, the Linux Foundation. Yeah, that's the way my heart feels too. The Linux Foundation hosts the FAIR project under a neutral charter with shared ownership and transparent governance. This includes a technical steering committee with 3 elected co-chairs, myself, Ryan, and Mika Epstein, who couldn't be here today.
So, FAIR needed more than code and developers. It needed a structure that will last and be bigger than any one of us. We also need a financial structure that relies on not one company, but a larger group of companies. That's why we turned to the Linux Foundation, not to just host our repository, but as support from people who've done this successfully for literally decades. They helped us come up with a sustainable governance model. So, as Carrie just announced, FAIR is a project underneath the Linux Foundation, just like OpenJS, CNCF, and so many others. FAIR will be governed by an openly elected TSC and a technical advisory committee made up of funding partners. This creates a clear alignment between businesses and technical leadership. We've backed trust and accountability into the project's foundation. We'll soon make more announcements on how your companies can be part of that. So yes, we're launching code, but we're also launching a movement, one that prioritizes accountability, inclusion, and long-term sustainability. And today we ask you to help. If you're a contributor, contribute. Companies like Automatic, WP Engine, and everyone else we haven't talked to yet, join us. This is for all of us, and that includes all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. You're staying here on stage with me, buddy.
So I have done a lot of speaking, but I was bloody nervous for that too. I get you.
Of course, of course. We'll all wear. So we want to thank you, everyone who contributed, whether publicly or privately. If you're here today and you worked on FAIR, thank you for being part of this. And we have a website. You can learn more at fair.pm. So it's FAIR.pm. So we're ready to build together. And I really hope many of us will join the movement. Thank you. And because I can never stick to a script, the next session was supposed to be a panel with me asking Se, please. Now it's time. There's your microphone. Oh. Hello. Okay. Okay.
Color
we can do
coordination.
this.
There we
We're
go.
tech people.
Yeah, we got this.
So I was like, I mean, yeah, we can do a panel. We can ask each other questions and we can, but it's 9-something p.m. Oh, 9 p.m.
Fair
You had
PM.
a long day at WordCamp Europe. You had a long evening here. So we're going to do it a bit differently. So we're making a Q&A from the public. But first, that's you. So I actually, because, well, I don't know, are there any other Italians here in the room? Okay. So in Italy, we have this thing that when you have a show, there's always a beautiful half-naked woman taking the microphone around.
No.
No, but
You can't, I mean, go for it.
no, but when I was young, that was actually one of my dreams, to do that job. So I really wanted to come to the audience and be like, hey, do you have something to ask? But they're wired, so I cannot do that. So not even this time, I can fulfill my dream of being a half-naked microphone lady. That's very sad, but bear with me. Next time we'll be better prepared. No.
Do we even need
This
a
was
panel?
definitely not in the script.
I don't know what's happening
Of
anymore.
course it's not, because the other dream, and that's where I'm throwing your
We're not
curveball.
Italian. I think that's
That's
the
when I'm
problem.
throwing your curveball. This has just become a karaoke. No, I'm kidding.
actually okay with that. That I will do.
Then I asked Carrie back on stage.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. We'll do Q&A. We'll do a panel.
You know what song would be really good? Sorry. I'm just thinking, you're so vain.
I
Bet you
am.
think
I
this-
am.
Wait.
I
bet
am.
you think this distribution package is about you, don't you?
It
Don't you?
is.
Okay, sorry, I had to.
It is.
You asked for karaoke.
I love a karaoke. And also we joked from the beginning that if there was ever going to be another BDFL, everyone knows it's going to be me. But there's not there's not one. So I cannot also fulfill that dream of mine. Okay.
This is getting sad.
So does anyone have questions?
All the questions are going to be about FAIR, right? Are we real? Is it?
No,
yeah,
the
yeah.
question can be about anything.
Well,
Does anyone have a
I
question?
don't see any hands yet.
No.
Come here.
Courtney has
I
a
wanted to
question.
take the microphone to you, but unfortunately you have to come up here.
Did not see that
So if you
coming.
have questions, please come up here and we'll make it a party. And then if there's enough of us, we can do an ABBA song.
I care a lot
Hi.
about. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Dear friend of mine, I care a lot about contributors.
Yes.
And I know that there's some contributors that would like to be funded to do some things, maybe related to FAIR. What are your thoughts around how we can fund the contributions that could be related to FAIR?
You know, one might think this was a setup question.
It is a setup question. It is a setup.
It was not. Surprise. Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. Because
I was not speaking as the WP Community Collective in my talk, but I am the CEO of the WP Community Collective. Courtney is also a co-founder, as our other co-founders over there in the audience. So it's good that you brought that up, because there are a lot of contribution opportunities, right? New contribution opportunities happening right now. You too can contribute more. However, my compatriots, and the members of the WPCC, which you too can join, think that maybe the days of completely extractive volunteer labor should not be the norm anymore.
Amen.
Amen. So we also can't go handing out money to people randomly. Weird. I know. I mean, that's where all of that went. I was wondering. That's a joke. We know exactly where it is. And actually, you can also know where the WPCC funds are, because we're putting them on the website tonight. They're supposed to already be there. But that's all right. Anyway, point is, how can we fund things? We should probably open up an organization that is able to fund contributors for WordPress projects, open source projects in general, adjacent projects like FAIR. And amazingly, we have done that already. It already exists. Yeah. So we have this awesome zine that I didn't bring up with me, but it's over there. Can you hold that up? Vlad is going to hold it up. There it is. It tells you all about the WPCC and how we work, so that you can join and help fund contribution to all sorts of things, not just WordPress. Okay. That was a long answer. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a lot of words.
Extractive labor bad, paying people good.
Yeah.
That's the TLDR, I got that.
More questions, please. Yes, we have another brave soul here.
Hello, I was really pleased to hear about the plans to support premium plugins, and I'd love to have you expand upon that.
So,
Thank you for the question.
Historically, every premium plugin has to, well, sort of work around WordPress.org, right? All the guidelines made it very hard to do things, and that led to most plugins having a free and a premium version. I think that with this, we'll actually be able to make that a lot easier, because you'll be able to find the premium version, install that, and we'll need to figure out how you do payments, etc. But most of that you could do yourself as well. You could just handle the entire system, which leads to much, much, much better user experiences. Because I'll let you all in on a secret. When we had Yoast,
what's that? Never heard of it.
Well, this small plugin, we sold quite a few premium licenses, and at one point we discovered that a large percentage of our users never installed premium because they didn't know it, even though they had bought it.
You know, you can put notices in the admin. Sorry.
Oh, we had to go there. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, you knew that. You did know that.
We did know that. We didn't actually do that. Yeah, no, we did that. And it's just, it's very hard for people. And I think that what people have to realize is that what the WordPress, a lot of us that are slightly on the other side of 35.
Speak for yourself. Who?
No, but those of us who started on WordPress early on take a lot of stuff for granted that new users just don't do. So new user experiences for WordPress very often already include plugins, and very often have just a lot of these things already installed, and they don't think about how to do that, and they definitely don't know how to download a zip file and then upload it themselves manually and click activate and or install and then activate, because why wouldn't that be one button? So there is a lot to do. Sorry.
Ajax. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I agree, but Core doesn't. No, so I think we can make that entire system simpler, better for everyone, which makes the premium plugin economy also better, which I hope will also help with innovation, because we badly need it.
Absolutely. Thank you. More questions. Ooh, the boss man has a question. Oh.
The Queen has a boss? I have a question. Like last year in October, there was a law passed in the European Union called Cyber Resilience Act, which is going to affect, the WordPress core, is going to affect all of the plugins. Everyone needs to be compliant and have a CE mark. How is FAIR going to tackle that issue? Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we pass this one to Ryan?
That's a good question. Who wants to take this on?
Where's Ryan? Because he's actually far better at answering this. Than
Yeah, come on up. This is the open. Okay, we're moving into the open mic part.
Gotta get technical.
Do you have an answer or a question? Oh, you also have an answer.
No, but we have a technical answer, but Ryan has a much better technical answer than I.
Sorry. Congratulations, by the way. Many of you might know or not that I'm also the president of the Open Website Alliance, consisting of Typo3, WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal. And the Open Website Alliance was created because of the CRA. Oh. Right? And we have put a lot of the time to actually prepare, and we wrote an open letter to the European Commission 2 years ago about the role of open source. So yes, it's going to happen. It's going to happen faster than you think. The open source, so maybe better like this. So we'll take care. Please come to us if you want to.
You mentioned 4 members, but I looked at your website today.
Oh.
Wow.
Who uses websites?
Never heard of it.
No, actually, 2 years ago, the world was a different one, right? So we decided this week that we're going to be, because we reached out to WordPress. Hey guys.
To who?
To WordPress.
Exactly? Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Just checking.
Yeah. So it's all about Oedipus complexes here, right? So I'm an open person, and as you heard it before, I'm a peaceful person. We should go the path of peace, but we should also prepare our communities for these things to happen, and we should also make sure that everybody's informed enough that they can do the right thing. So please rest assured that we are open to anyone who is in the open web, right? Open for other open source, open web-minded organizations. So if you think you can be part of it, we will take care of that.
I think we can.
So
Kareem was already gesturing that he wanted to say
I can't be up here with these two guys.
No. So just.
Is this a new question?
No.
It's all a setup.
We haven't had a chance to tell you
JK.
yet. We met with your compatriot today, and FAIR is going to do everything they can to also contribute to your initiative.
Yes.
I think that's called collaboration.
It is.
Yes.
And so yes, let's dive into some of this. I think I want to mention as well, while we have built FAIR for WordPress, we have also designed it in a way that actually any software system could actually adopt it. We have not built it specifically for WordPress. So, if Typo3 would like to adopt FAIR as well, I think, it's open technology, and we'd love to have other people using it. It would be. It would be. You would not believe how many puns we have had over the time we've worked on this. So to the CRA point specifically, so the CRA has certain requirements around, and I know we've talked about this directly, has a lot of requirements around things like reporting, ensuring that you have the right context for certain things, ensuring that you mark things correctly, whether that's the CE mark or explicitly marking things as security releases, for example, etc. We have built those things into the FAIR protocol from the start, designing it in a way that it basically is impossible to not provide that information. And we've gone further as well. So I don't want to get too far into the tech details. You can go check it out on the repository, but our decentralized IDs are tied to cryptographic signatures, and so actually we can secure the supply chain the whole way throughout, while still allowing things like mirrors from hosts and etc. But with all that said, I mean, we're not going to get it perfect, and we welcome all of the feedback that we can get. You know, we want to engage people from, you know, whether that is at a security company, whether that's at a host, whether those are, you know, enterprise agencies, whether it is, you know, site builders working with users directly. You know, no matter what you're doing, we want to have you as part of FAIR. You know, I think Carrie said in the talk before, you know, none of us are as smart as all of us, right? And we want as much feedback, as much collaboration, because really the strength of WordPress over the past 20 years that I've been involved with it has been when we come together as a community to build things together. You know, not when we go off in silos, but when we come together. So, you know, I welcome all the feedback that you have on our CRA stuff. And yeah, if there's things that we need to add, you know, we have designed in a way that we can iterate on that. And, you know, we intend to do that over the next, you know, who knows how long.
Forever.
Yeah.
Questions? Oh, that's a... You can stay here with us, my friend. Stay. Yeah. You can also hire us for wedding, funerals.
Specifically, Francesca, you can
engage. No, because you don't like this at all. You're so uncomfortable
Make her dreams
on
come
stage.
true.
Thank you. The queen, the real queen is here.
So do you need help?
From
Yes.
you?
Always.
Always.
We need help from everyone.
From everyone.
That's my question. What
Yeah.
can I help with?
Well, go to fair.pm,
Okay.
which actually redirects to our GitHub repo. and
Okay, I
start-
found it. Yeah.
And start reading.
Okay, thank you.
Most importantly, start writing.
So it is worth saying, I think, you know, we kind of mentioned there are a lot of like contributors involved with this. You know, you saw many of them in this room. People who are, you know, making their involvement public. There are also people who are keeping their involvement private for various reasons. But there's also a huge number of other contributors, including many watching us right now on the live stream. Hello. And, you know, they are right now like looking at pull requests and things like that. So, you know, if you want to get your laptop out and start contributing right now, please do. There are people waiting for your call. So, yeah.
Also, no karaoke hackathon?
I mean, I've got a microphone in my hand. I am happy to start karaoke right now.
We have
I'm here
still
for
3
that.
minutes. Should we sing or should we have a question? Oh. Are you here to sing?
Get on. Can you?
Okay. Jono is here to sing. Go.
What's our message to the market, to people we interact with over the next few days who might say incorrectly use the word fork, or enterprises who are concerned about man-in-the-middle attacks? How do we succinctly sell this message?
Thank you. Who wants to reply?
The
Do you want to take it? Should I call the other Italian? What's up?
Oh, he usually has more words than I do, but this is not a fork, right? It's by definition, it's
There is no fork.
no. By definition, what we wanted to do was embrace what we could do and enhance the community instead of break it. And I think that's what we've done. I think FAIR is not, as a technical project, not the easiest project to explain to everyone. And I'm not...
You mean package distribution? That does not.
No, I mean, a
Every
package,
balls off your tongue.
the people who understand what a package manager is are probably already like a subset of humanity that's fairly small.
It is.
But the thing is that if we talk to our distribution partners about this and they know what this means and we get them to use this, the end users don't have to know. They don't have to know.
They don't have to
ground.
understand.
Well, they can't.
I'm just saying they don't have to know. Doesn't sound.
No,
super
but
transparent.
yeah, no, that's fair. They don't have to understand.
They can know.
They can know.
But they don't
if
have
they
to
want to.
understand.
And we can really make it easy for them to use everything.
Yeah. So I think as well, you know, something that we have embraced throughout this is it's not a protest. This is not like, you know, just going and replacing things for the sake of it. Really, this is the next generation of what we should be building, right? You know, something that we have always had in the WordPress community is a big focus on users and what we can do to actually empower them, deliver better things for them. You know, we mentioned before that right now the ecosystem is actually quite fragmented, right? Getting premium plugins or you know, plugins that are only hosted on GitHub or you know, whatever is actually really difficult if you're a user, right? You have to download zips, you have to git clone, or you have to install Composer, you know, all of these things. We believe that we have the ability to actually stitch the ecosystem back together while also actually just making it better at the same time.
Jono, is that slogan good enough for, and also for SEO? Okay, good. I'm gonna go to Wendy, and then I'm gonna go to Michelle, and then I think they're gonna kick us out. Oh, but we didn't do the karaoke.
Or the half-naked dancing.
Apparently, that I need to organize better for that one.
After party with Francesca.
All right. So
That was not the message.
Sorry. I'm super excited. My question actually aligns with Jono's question. How? Because I understand a little bit of what you're saying. I also understand, I think, a little bit of what it could imply. We have another day of WordCamp tomorrow.
We don't know if we do.
Well, I hope
I mean, him. I wasn't involved. No, just him. I was already. Don't ban me again.
Let me put it differently. I hope I have another day of WordCamp tomorrow.
There you go.
I will be proud to tell people I was here and share the insights I have learned. Can you help me create some simple sentences that I can actually share with people at the WordCamp to also inspire them to at least go and take a look at your website and maybe join the GitHub and the movement and get involved a little bit?
I think we can. In fact,
do it right now.
Well,
we do.
I have what we call a message house.
Yes, yes for the message house.
made by my lovely wife.
We could do karaoke while you find it.
My connection is not the best.
Okay, that's our turn.
We will share those. I mean, honestly, our marketing and our all those things are not the first things we did, but they should be things we focus on. And this is a very valid question. And I'll be the first to say that a marketing team is a thing worth having.
Thank you very much. We should fist bump on that. That's right. Don't scorn marketers is really what you
No,
said
yeah.
here
So
today.
I agree, and we'll have to put that up on the website as soon as we can. There is some people listening who are behind computers who can maybe do that.
Thank you. So one last question from Michelle.
Okay, point of clarification on some things, or maybe one thing, but going back to Zoe's talk at the very beginning and how words matter, I've heard Ryan say open, and I want to know if you can clarify open versus free when it comes to the FAIR plan.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle.
Everybody's looking at me to answer that one, so I'll give it my best try. So, you know, when we talk about openness in this, we are not talking about, you know, the code just being available, right? You know, I think that is very easy to achieve. Part of the reason that, you know, we wanted to be under the Linux Foundation's umbrella to understand, you know, the models that existed, the ways that, you know, huge communities across, you know, open source and across free software work, you know, it was kind of going with the Linux Foundation and seeing what is, you know, best practice. And so we kind of mentioned, you know, the sides of it, but we have a technical steering committee that is composed of members who are people that contribute. And we actually changed the Linux Foundation definition slightly to make it a bit broader so that we're making sure that we include all types of contribution, not just contributing code. Everybody who contributes can kind of become part of the technical steering committee. Technical steering committee then gets to vote and elect the co-chairs. So Carrie, myself, and Mika were elected as the co-chairs. and we have rules around how that governance works. And then, that kind of interacts with the technical advisory board and things like that as well. So, it is not just openness in terms of, hey, this is open source, we're throwing some code out there and kind of good luck. It is all throughout all of these things. And we really want to embrace the community side of these things and bring everybody together. We don't want this to be, hey, some people over here get power and some people don't, and there's no rules for how any of that happens. It's completely arbitrary. We want to build something from scratch, following the best practices, following the trends and the patterns set by great open source communities already.
Yeah, I think that what's important to add here is that the guiding principle was that no single company or person can direct where this goes. It's for all of us, and we have to decide with all of us where it goes.
Thank you. The future of WordPress. The future of WordPress.
Like I'm on a fair sandwich over here.
I got it. Yeah, that is a fair sandwich indeed.
That means the WPCC is the meat.
This is getting
or the cheese. Probably the cheese. That's better.
I don't
makes
know.
more sense.
Like, where's Taco? Are we okay to say these things? I don't know.
I think we might be out of time.
I was talking about sandwiches,
but I
Francesca.
really want to hear one thing. 3 words that come to mind when you think about the future of WordPress.
Excitement, community, and openness.
All right.
Possibility, collaboration. I already did that one. Not karaoke, but that could be close. Honestly, I don't want to even say this just because I'm not like, I'm not a fair representative, but fairness.
Good.
But not just fairness, like actual fairness.
Thank you.
I'm kind of into it.
Just one word. Innovation.
All righty. Thank you so much for being here on this slightly unhinged session. Takis, please close the session in a proper way, not in the unhinged way.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. I mean, we all sort of witnessed a little bit of WordPress history happening in front of our eyes tonight, I think. And if we can get our final slides on the screen. That would be amazing. Or I could improvise the final slides. Yeah, they're coming along. Yeah, here they are, of course, of course. All right, so we have had an amazing night. We're going to ask for your feedback after the event. You're going to get an email for your feedback, and we hope you are fair, but honest also with us. We want to thank our sponsors once again, because without them we would not be able to have made it tonight. WP Fusion, Type 3, Harbuz Hosting, CrowdPress, Patchstack, Progress Planner, WP Concierge, and Seravo. Also our supporters on our Open Collective page. We want to thank our audiovisual team, Kostas, Nilo, Claudio, and Edmund. Wendy and Taco for being around. Thank you, friends. And also, I would like to see the organizing team of this event on the stage tonight. Please, if I could have Yap, and can someone summon Austin? If someone could summon Austin, I would love that as well. Do we also have Patricia with us? Is she around? Huh? She's upstairs. Please, just call them. And in the meantime, I'm going to do some of the final slides. You can have our swag, any leftover swag that there is, you can grab it on your way out and take it with you in your local meetups. We still have the room open until 10 p.m. The kitchen also closes at 10 p.m., but the venue upstairs closes at 1. So you can still use your 10 Swiss franc vouchers in the kitchen, and exactly. All right. All right. Thank you so much. Come on also here, Brille, come on. I mean, you did a lot of great work. Thank you so much. It's been amazing. Sing.
What song?
Oh my God, something Swiss? Well, my wife and I were singing the Edelweiss since we are in Switzerland, but it's a little hard. It's a little hard. No, I don't think we can indulge in that.
I could hear all the applause from upstairs, so I'll enjoy watching it back.
All right.
Thank you.
I think that's a wrap, friends. It was an amazing night. Thank you so much.
Everything okay?